Snow drifted across the open plains like heaven's own ashes, lifting, tumbling, and settling in soft, endless sheets. Lone Hollow lay still under the weight of winter, its chimneys smoking quietly, its doors locked against the cold. On Christmas night, the tiny western town felt like a memory sleeping, suspended and untouched. But far from Main Street, the Baxter Ranch glowed with the faint, stubborn light of a single lantern. It flickered in the window like a heartbeat refusing to stop inside. Rancher Colt Mercer paced the living room with the restless gait of a man trying to outrun his own mind. He looked carved from shadow jaw tight, shoulders stiff.
Ow.
Boots thudding softly on the wooden floorboards that were worn from years of storms, years of pacing, years of remembering. He wasn't an old man by any stretch, but in the glow of the fire, the weight he carried made him appear older than he should have been. Outside, the wind rose, whispering, then clawing against the windows. Exactly like every year, it's that week again, Colt muttered under his breath, as if the room didn't already know. As if the walls hadn't heard the same thing for 15 years, the fire cracked sharply. But the sound didn't soothe him. Nothing did during the week before Christmas. Not since the night the blizzard took his father. The night Colt blamed himself for every flake of snow that had fallen, every gust of wind that had cut visibility down to nothing, every terrible choice that ended a life and reshaped another. He ran a hand through his dark hair. Dragging in a breath that didn't steady him. "You're pacing again," came a soft voice behind him. Colt stiffened as though caught doing something dangerous. He turned, expecting to find concern or pity in her eyes. Instead, he saw calm, strength, warmth that didn't waver. Alara Thompson stood beside the fire. Her gloved hands held close to the flames, her cheeks pinkened from the freezing ride she had made to reach him. Snow still dusted her coat, sparkling like tiny stars against the wool. The firelight painted her in gold, turning her presence into something that didn't belong in this house of ghosts and guilt. "You shouldn't have come," Colt said. Though a part of him was ashamed by the truth, he was grateful she had. Alara shrugged out of her gloves, laying them on the hearth to dry. "You said that last year too. I meant it then. And now?" "Well," she said, turning to face him, "I didn't listen then. And I definitely won't listen now." Colt tried to glare at her, but the effort fell apart before it reached his eyes. She never reacted to his roughness, never flinched from his edges the way most people did. Maybe because she had edges of her own. "This isn't your burden," Colt warned. "This house, this night, this storm, they're mine, not yours." Alara took a slow step forward, her boots barely making a sound. "Colt, grief isn't something someone should shoulder alone." Another gust of wind slammed against the window. Snow spiraled so thickly outside that the lantern's reflection blurred into white noise. Colt's jaw clenched. "You hear that?" he whispered. "It's just wind," she said. "No," he replied, voice dropping. "It's the same storm. The same damn storm every year." Lara glanced outside again. The blizzard had grown vicious, swallowing the horizon and howling as if demanding entry. "Storms return," she said softly. "Weather repeats." "It's not like this," Colt said, stepping closer, lowering his voice as though confiding something forbidden. "Same week, same night, same cold. Every Christmas, it's as if the world tries to make me relive it." Alara saw it, then the quiet panic beneath his stoicism, the tension running through him like a pulled wire ready to snap. "Colt," she murmured, placing a hand gently on his arm. "You didn't cause what happened." He didn't pull away, but he didn't relax either. "I was supposed to be the one who rode out. I was the one who started searching for that stray calf. He went after me because I got turned around in the wind." "You were 17, she reminded him. "A boy. Old enough to know better. Old enough to think I was invincible." Colt swallowed roughly. "He died because he went after me." "And you lived because he found you," Alara countered, her tone firm. "Your father made a choice. A father's choice." Colt's breathing hitched barely, but she saw it. She always saw everything he tried to hide outside. Thunder rumbled through the mountains, an unnatural resonant sound for winter. echoing across the frozen plains. Colt's shoulders tensed. "It's starting," he murmured. Ilara crossed to the window and pulled the curtain aside. Snow whipped horizontally in blinding waves. Lightning flashed faintly behind the clouds, eerie and muted. "You think this is fate?" she said quietly. He didn't answer. She let the curtain fall. "But what if it's an opportunity instead?" Colt blinked. "What?" "You're haunted because you lived," she said, stepping closer. "Because you couldn't save him. Because you think you should have done anything different." Colt's throat tightened painfully. "I couldn't move, Ilara. When he found me, I was nearly frozen. If he hadn't lifted me up, I'd have died too." "You were a kid," she insisted. "I was a liability," Colt shot back. "And he paid for it." Ilara shook her head, eyes fierce. "No, he paid because he loved you." Silence expanded between them, thick and warm and terrifyingly honest. Finally, Colt whispered, "Why are you here?" "Because," she said, "you never deserved to face this alone. And because tonight, I think you need to rewrite the ending." Colt frowned. "Rewrite it?" "You rebuilt the calf shelter last spring," she said, voice soft. 2 newborns are in there tonight? The storm's getting worse. You know what will happen if you don't check on them?" Colt exhaled shakily. "You want me to go out there? I want you to choose to go out there. For them, for yourself. For the part of you still stuck in that snow 15 years ago?" He stared at her, disbelieving. "In this storm?" "Yes, Ilara. It could kill me, or it could free you." Her words struck deeper than she could have known. Colt stepped back, running a hand across his beard. He stared at the fire as if searching for an answer hidden in the flames. After several long seconds, he said, "I don't know if I can." Ilara reached out, her fingers brushing his. "Then let me believe in you." He sucked in a breath. The world outside roared as if daring him. Finally, Colt grabbed his coat from the hook, shrugging into it with mechanical motions. His hat followed. His gloves. His scarf. Each movement felt like stepping into a memory, stepping into a moment he had sworn he would never face again. At the door, he hesitated. "You're serious about this?" he asked again. Ilara nodded. "More than anything? And you'll stay here? You won't go out looking for me?" "I'll wait," she whispered. "Right here. And the fire will be warm when you come back." Colt's breath fogged in the freezing air the second he opened the door. The wind hit him like a wall cold, brutal, mocking. Snowflakes stung his skin like needles. He didn't look back. He stepped into the storm, boots sinking deep with every step. His lantern barely cut through the white veil. The path to the calf shelter swallowed almost instantly behind him. The wind roared with the fury of a beast, tugging at him, pushing him sideways. Reminding him of the night he had nearly died, he pushed harder. Every step felt like a battle against the past. Every gust of wind felt like his father calling his name through the storm. Every shiver felt like a memory clawing up his spine. The shelter's silhouette finally appeared. Small wooden structure barely visible through the blizzard. Colt reached it, braced himself, and shoved the frozen door open. Inside, 2 calves huddled together, trembling. Their soft cries muffled by the storm, Colt crouched down between them, pulling them close, using his body heat the way his father once had for him. The warmth was faint, but growing. Their shivering slowed. A tear froze on Colt's cheek before it could fall. "I'm here," he murmured. "Not this time. Not ever again." He stayed until the calves were calm, until the storm eased just slightly, just enough that he could breathe without tasting fear. By the time he stepped back into the night, something inside him had shifted. The storm still raged, but it no longer owned him. He walked back with steadier steps, the cold no longer the enemy it once was. Lights glowed from the Baxter Ranch when he approached. Ilara flung the door open the moment she heard his boots crunching through the snow. "You did it," she whispered. Eyes shining with something between relief and pride, Colt stepped inside. Shedding snow as the warmth swallowed him whole, he stared at her, breath still uneven, but no longer trembling. "Yeah," he said, voice low. "I did the unthinkable." Ilara stepped closer. "Which part?" He looked into her eyes with a softness he had never allowed himself before. "I chose to live," he said. And as the storm roared outside and the fire crackled behind them, Colt Mercer, on the Christmas night that once defined his grief, finally reclaimed the one thing he had lost for 15 long years himself.